Lots of orders, but I'm going to simplify it down. It's actually not as much as it looks like. We finished the day with a realized P&L of $63.33. We've got some new positions. We've closed some old positions. We had some day trades. And net on the day trades, we were red about $200 on the day. But we did lock in gains elsewhere. And that's why we net out to 63 in the green. So call it a red day, call it a green day. Doesn't really matter to me. It's all going to summarize at the end of the month anyway. So we continue the green streak, I guess, by day. Today is Thursday, October 19th. Let's dive into it. So there's a couple trades in here. Well, these, technically speaking, I didn't realize the size that I had. So I actually bought it 4 or 3 times, but I should have gotten more contracts on just one buy. But the position is the same idea. The stops are all set at the same level. I'll talk about that as well. But let's just dive into it. So MRNA GameStop, this is still on the GameStop short. I locked in 10%. I sold 10 shares. I bought back 10 shares. I covered 10 shares. MRNA, we realized $255 more of profits after locking some more in over the past couple of days. This has been a short trade. I think I entered it Monday and we're out. It's Thursday. We're all out. It achieved my target and more. It came down to about $80 today. And the ultimate target that I was looking for was 85. I knew it could go lower. Of course it could. But once you got to 85, below 85, like the risk reward to me, volume profile, looking back, bigger picture just wasn't there. So once we got to 85, I got all out. My original stop loss was at $100 from a 95 entry, so it was already a 2-to-1 risk reward, which was great. I moved the stop loss to break even as I started to move in our direction, and we had locked in some gains on like Tuesday or on Wednesday or whatever the day was. But that was it. So it came down to nearly $80. Great short, just textbook look. I mean, this is what you want to see. So we played it and shorted it, and that was it. Nothing crazy there. Tesla was today. I do want to talk about this. Kind of chopped me up. The original idea that I had looking back was there. It was right. So my thought process was kind of there, but the reality was I just didn't execute it properly and then kind of came back a couple of times and it chopped me up a little bit. But at the end of the day, just going to move on. And hey, earnings was yesterday, so I'm not surprised that it wasn't, clean today. But it honestly kind of was. Depends on how you look at it. It really just depends. But we had some losers in there, some winners in there. The one winning trade actually was on the Tesla breakdown under this level right here. The losers were, the initial play was Tesla pre-market. This is the Tesla pre-market low right here. Then Tesla comes down on the first 5 minutes of the day, tests that exact same spot at the open. So if we broke below that 15 minutes after the open, I want to get in. So I actually got in short here on Tesla, and then I got stopped out here. Now, I may have missed this one because I put my stop loss pretty much right at the VWAP, and I followed the VWAP. But realistically, if you zoom in, Tesla never broke the VWAP. Every chart's going to be different. The platform you use is going to be different. Is that an excuse? Not really. But I got stopped out, and then it literally like a couple cents later reversed and went down, and I was looking for 221 as my target, and it got that and more. It actually came down. Low of the day was down around 217, just under 217. It was a long play. This is a trade, let me tell you right now, would have absolutely cooked me with Theta. Theta would have cooked me up. In this case, it didn't. I just had, paper cut losses, and that was it. So I'm not too mad about it, but Theta would have cooked me like fresh dinner. Like I would have been in the oven all day. And it's easy to do that when you're playing options. So I'm super happy to not be playing options anymore. Now, why was I looking down towards that 221 and why was it, and then the low of the day was just under 217? Well, we jump over to Bookmap. I was tracking this pretty much all day long. And if you watch this closely, the larger areas of liquidity here on Tesla were at some of those levels. So there's a massive area of liquidity right here at 220, which is this first big orange zone right here. And then below that, there's a 218. Once we broke that, had a little more push. Then there was another massive one, 215. So I just didn't want to have my take profits too close to those levels, which is why my original take profit was going to be 221, which is just before this area. And we did end up bouncing off that, pushing back up to 222.50, and then eventually broke through it, but we still bounced from there. So it kind of had a little bit of, choppiness around that level. So the clean action is before that, which is why I had that take profit there. Ultimately, it got stopped out prior to that, so it didn't end up working for me. But then the next trade on Tesla was actually as Tesla broke down below this 219 area of liquidity, broke through here, and then I did end up making a few bucks on that, made a few bucks back, I should say. So Bookmap, I'll leave a link down below that if you want to use it and check it out, see what it's all about. It's pretty cool when it comes to liquidity and stuff. I've been using it all the time recently, and it's been very, very helpful to identify those types of things. But let's go back here. So we also had DIA. I won't even bother with that one as a $33 loss. I'll pull it up because I might as well. But DIA on this trade today was a 1 hour initial origination, I guess, or is that how you say it? Whatever. The idea originated from the 1 hour chart on the Dow. And the reason why I like this play was because it kind of had that look of a 1 hour flag. Not kind of, it pretty much was moving down in a downtrend, and then you have the setup for a break of lows, which you broke underneath yesterday's low. And so that was kind of my look, was I wanted to see if we could broke that, because we kind of came down, right? Consolidate pre-market at the open, and we break that low, get me in. So I got in here, and then I eventually was up nicely, and then I moved my stop loss to just north of my break even, and that's when I got stopped out. We had Powell speaking, so kind of a wash as it is. Powell spoke, market popped, and then it dropped. So the idea was kind of there again. Dow went lower, but just the path and the timing wasn't there. Powell speaking in between kind of threw a wrench in it. Was I super concerned about that? Not really. I didn't let that destroy me, but I was like, I don't know how much it's going to matter. Let the chart be the chart, and it did matter. So I probably should have just listened to my original voice in my head saying, "Don't really, Powell's coming on, just leave it alone, just get out," and that's it. I waited for that to stop me out. So that was that. But then we got this. So this is the US 2000. It's essentially the Russell 2000 short. So if I pull this up and we dive into it, just based on the broker that I use, this is the vehicle of choice. There's multiple ways you can play futures and different names for them. But the US 2000 is the E-mini Russell 2000 futures. So I'm in here on a short. Now, this is a scenario where I look at this and I say to myself, if I do not take this trade, I'm going to look back and potentially be pissed that I didn't take it. Everything that I look for is setting up. So I will take it, but I'm risking about 140, 150 bucks. That's it. So the risk is dialed in, and the reward is 200 plus. Hopefully we can get that. And then we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't believe I'm going to hold it over the weekend. The only scenario in which I would hold it over the weekend would be if the take profits don't really hit, the stop doesn't hit, and I would sell some and leave maybe a little bit to ride. That's it. If the chart pattern is still intact, that's really it. But you have a break of support, right? Which we have right here, which is the October lows. So we had consolidation. So you have now coiled up a little bit, ready for the next extension of a move, potentially. And you've got a very clear downtrend for months leading up, and just clean lower highs prior to that leading up. And not to mention the 10-year yield is up around 5%. So all the things that are not great for small caps, mid caps, the Russell, you kind of have lining up. So all of this, and you broke this low on higher volume. I mean, you have what you want for the short. So I look back and I say, this is a situation where I can't not take the trade, which is why I'm in this. It's a swing. But technically speaking, it's not. If it's 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. or midnight tonight, and one of my take profits hit, okay, well, that's going to take me out. This is going to trade essentially constantly. Of course, there's the weekend, but that's why I'm not going to hold for the weekend, ideally. But so I'm not really too worried about overnighting an option, which is a risk, because of course we could gap down and then all of a sudden rip up at the open, and then I miss out on that. But there's no risk of that happening here with playing the futures. So that's what I'm playing. Not to mention, guys, this is a potential, we got a potential move here. We could get for 100%, we could totally get, you know, a big lower wick and then a massive reversal off this level, because this has been a pretty key level the past like year or more on the Russell. So I could see that happen, but in the case that it does not, we also closed at the lowest level we have this entire year, pretty much. Yeah, I think, yeah, the entire year. If we get the follow through, it could be juicy, is all I'm saying. So the way I'll play these, generally speaking, for swings will be breaking candle high on a short is the stop loss. So breaking candle high is going to be right here, which is around 1737 or so, like this area right here. That's breaking candle high. So then what I would then do to calculate my take profits would be at least a 1-to-1. So you think about taking profits at a 1-to-1 or better. So if we make a move of $35, let's say, down on this, so like 1665 would be where I start thinking about taking profits and starting to scale out from there. You could do that because, or I could do that because obviously if I were to have a bigger move, right, I'm going to have more than a 1-to-1, right, net. But also, I don't have to worry about theta decay, options, none of that shit. So it makes it a little bit easier. So that's the plan there. That's the position. That's like the next thing, I guess, if there is even something to guess. Let me just log into my Surge Trader account and show you guys where we currently sit on the funded account, all that stuff. So if I pop it open, Trader login, they just recently came out with a new 2-step process to create or to get funded or whatever. But here's the account. So, this is my free trial account. Let's jump over to the other one, the actual one. So currently we sit at a $50,862. Technically it's down $100 from yesterday. That's with open positions being taken into account. This is after being what I've locked in technically. And then the growth, we're at 17%. So that's fine. Not, pissed about it, but ultimately we've got some red in there, which is good because we have to lose at some point. So you got some of those out the way, hopefully. And now we can get back on the upside. That was Tesla. That was honestly my bad. And I chopped myself up on that, which I really shouldn't have. But other than that, though, I feel like we're in a decent spot. This has been working. So let's see if it keeps working. This worked on GameStop. It's worked on MRNA. Will it now work on the Russell 2000? We shall see. Stay tuned for tomorrow's trade recap if I can get it out in time. I'm going to be going away for the weekend shortly, so we'll see. If not, I'll post it up, whenever I get back. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll leave links to TradeZella where I track everything, Surge Trader, all that stuff in the video description box down below. We're on pace for a pretty decent month. So let's see if we can keep it rolling. Peace out.